Hi Urmi, it has been I think 3 days of hectic running around for you. Your throat has kind of gone back and come back, I guess. Could you just talk about the experience and how the pitches went and the kind of response to the pitches?
Uh, I think I'm also taken by surprise because when we thought of doing these pitches, of course, you hope for the best, but because you're doing it for the first time, there is always a bit of fear. You think, oh, will the participants do it well? Will the technical things happen? Will people turn up? Then, if they turn up, will they leave? Will they really sit through it? And then, if they sit through it, then the next worry starts. Will there be meetings? Will it be any fruitful result come out of it? But I must say that I'm really, really surprised, taken by surprise this year, that how much people have spent time to listen to these people, listen to the participants, and gone out of their way to, if they were not interested, they said that, okay, we know who else is interested and we'll put you in touch with that person. So, as we were talking some time back, I think this whole pro filmmaker atmosphere, which is of course why we conduct this market, but the fact that it's curated, there are already time spent on selecting the best talent, really has started reflecting in the response they are getting. You know, that people are looking at them seriously, people take them seriously and go forward. So yeah, I'm really, really happy, and I really want to take it to the next level. I want to see what more can we do. One more thing is, of course, the space. We
The room was crowded.
we
There were
were
people
doing
sitting
just
on the
kind of
floors.
imaginary numbers for printing feedback forms, and we thought that, yeah, I mean, okay, this many 70 people, 70 forms max, nobody's going to turn up more than 50. So 50 was what we thought would turn up, and we printed 70 forms just as a
How to be on
uh,
the safe side?
to be on the safe side. And then there was like, what, 150 people in
Wow.
there, and it just, the space was small, and still everyone waited and listened to them. Yeah, space is, I think, the one of the big things that we have to look for now.
Right.
Even you saw it in the co-production
Right.
market. We thought, how many will turn up? 100 max. And again, you have 200. You have the whole film bazaar standing there. Sabi, just through the pitch, we kept adding rows and columns of chairs,
Right.
to get people or to sit. So, yeah,
So
I'm really
where did
overwhelmed.
this idea of open pitches come from?
See, open pitching in
This is not the first time. This is the first time it's
this
happened.
is the first time we introduced. There are many markets in the world in some form or the other. There are either pitching competitions, open pitches, something happens in many parts. And what has happened in last 8 years, this is the ninth year, 8 years we found that people, participants in the co-production market got really tired because they had to pitch to every person.
Right.
So we came up with this idea that, okay, why not spend half a day where everybody just gets up and pitches their ideas. People ask questions, and so if there is anything more, they can take it forward in one-to-one meetings. So at least the pitching is out of the way.
Right.
Now you come out to the table with a clear knowledge of what
Right.
you are talking about. And that has paid off. I think if you really look at the quality of meetings that projects have had, it has really been phenomenal. And also, right in the beginning of the market, there was a buzz because they already knew what they liked.
Right.
They didn't have to wait for 3 days
Right.
and trawl through all the projects
Right.
to know if they like anything at all.
Right.
So that was, I think, there was a sort of, everyone is talking about it. Hey, did you know that project? Because on the day one before lunch, all the projects were out in the open.
Right.
So that really helped us to sort of keep also the morale up of everyone, you know.
Right. So how does this go forward? So I'm assuming, like, obviously there have been like a couple of days of meetings, individuals meetings, and there have been some interest. I was reading in the dailies that Aditya Vikram Gupta's film has already got a producer on board. Could you talk a bit about how this kind of goes forward now?
See, co-production market, the difference between co-production market and screenwriters lab or work in progress lab is
At
quite
the stages
at the
as
stages,
they are in.
but also co-production market, there is always one producer attached to the project because it is co-production.
Right.
So we had very strictly curated the list. We had evaluated the producers, what they are about, and if they were capable of taking the project forward. So, of course, these buyer-to-buyer meetings then are going to be successful because there is already a certain amount of check done on these producers. So, I think in terms of memories of my mother, they already had a producer. Then Catherine Dusart came on board, and with Agra, with Manto, with Geetanjali Rao, they just developed Indian interest, and that's great, I think.
It's obviously maybe a bit too early to talk about if anything specific has happened.
Yeah, we need to wait. Simply because, you know, films have to be made to know
Right.
what's coming out of it. Because until they're not made, films are not made, they're just ideas.
Right.
So I think we have to wait till...
So, but also in terms of deals also happening.
even
it will take
deals,
time.
thank God deals don't happen in Film Bazaar because deals are about legal relationship, and that should take its own course
Right.
to finish. But the deals must happen in Bombay or wherever,
Right. But
not in Film Bazaar.
It's also interesting to see that the diversity in terms of the, especially with the obviously with the co-production market, the diversity in terms of the people who are backing the project. So there are projects which have international producers attached, and they're looking for Indian producers. And there are projects where you have Indian producers who are looking for international producers. How has the reaction from producers or people looking to fund been here? I mean, I see that there is a good big contingent of French producers here, a lot of obviously sales agents and international distributors, obviously programmers, Indian producers. I don't know if there are a lot of them here.
We have always Indian producers. You must understand that there are some celebrity producers, but there are also a lot of non-celebrity studio heads, creative directors, people who actually greenlight programs, and they have been here. They have been actively listening to projects and seeing things. I mean, seeking out newer work, because I think over the last 9 years, and especially if you look at the record of last 5 years, of which films have traveled internationally or have been critically acclaimed and seen certain amount of commercial success of offbeat work, they all have come from Film Bazaar in some way or the other.
Exactly.
So this new wave is a Film Bazaar supported, created, initiated by Film Bazaar NFDC. So of course now we have those people. It's just that they are not people everybody recognizes, and they are there. They are listening to projects and listening to pitches.
Right. So you are a screenwriter. This takes a considerable amount of your time. It must take a lot of motivation to kind of move away from your core, area of work, which sustains you, to contribute here. Could you talk about, what makes you do it?
I always feel that if I feel something needs to be done in anything, I have no right to say that something needs to be done unless I'm doing it. That's my personality. I don't believe that somebody else should do it. So obviously I really think that NFDC is a great place, and it's created an ecosystem, it's created an environment, and I have to work there because I believe that environment is needed. Because when I started my work, we didn't have any of this. So I understand the value it adds to a filmmaker's life. So yes, that's the reason why I do it. And also the second thing is that which is a slightly more nuanced argument, that I do not see script writing. I do see it as my profession. I give it my maximum best, but I do not see it that every single day I must be writing on a newer project, or I must at any point of time be working on 4 scripts. Because if over here we spend so much time nurturing a project, then why am I in my own life believing myself to be some assembly line? I have never worked on commissioned scripts. I've always thought of the scripts and sold the ideas or collaborated with someone. So I have time. I don't start writing unless I know. I write regularly. Even now I write 2 or 3 hours a day. That's not the issue. But I give it time. And one of the core ideas of Film Bazaar, which is development, is about time. Give it the respect and the time to your work. Don't rush. And that's why I feel I'm very excited about the results and numbers and all of that. But I would like to caution people that talent, good work is not democratic. It's not a number. You have to take the risk. You have to invest in it. And an idea may reach its final form maybe in 6 months, maybe in 6 years. But if you believe in it, you must give it that time. Because it's very nice, to say, okay, do it yourself, quick fixes, quick learnings, quick this. But that's not how it works. That's not how cinema has worked or any art has worked. You have to invest in it seriously.
Right.
So that's how I look at my work, and that's how I look at my work here in NFDC also. To sort of sometimes slow people down and say, no, look, I know you are excited. I know you want to make your film tomorrow. But wait till you're ready. And that's the hardest part of the job.
Right. So it's a great place, I think, for any young, old, new experienced filmmaker to be, especially for people who are, just about making films, starting to make films, because it just exposes them to, all sorts of people with, varied backgrounds. So obviously you have a rigorous screening process, through which participants come in, right?
That, yeah.
Would there be some advice for people who couldn't get through, who would want to come in and in terms of what are the things that they could possibly do?
Work harder. I must tell you, in fact, because we were talking about this yesterday. I was talking with Rajkumar Irani now, because they also have been meeting participants. What has happened in the last few years as the cinema has become more popular and desirable is that I find people have less and less internal quality check. They feel,
which means what? Yeah.
Which means that they feel if they have finished the script, that's it. From their side, the responsibility is over. But their own rewriting process hasn't developed. They haven't, and it's not very difficult. Today there is ample material available for a film writer on the net to know how to rewrite, how to question their own work. It's not rocket science. It's all available. It's available in books. But I find there's a certain resistance, certain fear, and which is increasing, where filmmakers are taking this responsibility of saying, no, I need to put in more work. That right now there's too much value placed in, I've finished the script, I've applied in Screenwriter's Lab, and then I haven't got in. Of course you're not going to get in. Because you haven't written it to the level.
Right.
So creating your own quality benchmark is, I think people will have to do now. That we don't want very raw work. It doesn't help us. Because the competition is getting fierce.
Right.
So I want now people to, before sending it to us, to have worked on it themselves.
Right. Thanks so much, Urmi. Amazing job. I hope most of the, or at least all of the films, I think, should get made. We would love to watch them on the big screen and continue with the good work that you're doing here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for talking to me.